Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Faheem, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Faheem.
Good morning, Chicago, and welcome to the Lightning Strike. One more hour of lightning and thunder, and let us see where things start in Chicago. It's good to see that I've got a guest in the studio today, and we'll be happy to introduce you to him and him to you all later. But meanwhile, Ken DeLuke is not in the studio with me today. Ken is working from home, and he's taking advantage of the generosity of the management over here to work from home. Hey, Ken. Good to see you.
Hey, how's it going? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't see you, and I'm so glad that you're not in the studio today. I don't want to catch any buzz from you.
But, yeah, I mean, I appreciate, being put online. This is good.
Okay. You're being put online. I sure hope that you will be online. Joining me in the studio today is Tyree Pippins, who is our intern, and Tyree is going to get some airtime today and some FaceTime on Facebook, right, Tyree?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so folks, if you have things on your mind, feel free to call in. The number is 773-763-9278. Again, 773-763-9278. WCPT. At about 9:15, Sheila White will be joining us. She is our segment producer for our Person of the Week and our Organization of the Week. And we have the Person of the Week in the studio with us today. His name is Ali Khan. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, and we'll get into more details with Ali as to why he has been chosen as the Person of the Week and what is he doing that is making such a huge difference to us in the Chicagoland area and beyond. But meanwhile, Ken, I think we need to dive right into what the heck is happening with our tax money, man. What are they doing in Washington? I mean, there's a circus in Washington right now, and it is all jokers. What do you say, Ken?
That's a really loaded question. I'm not really sure how to respond to that.
Okay. Question is pretty simple. I mean, these jokers are taking our tax money, and they're playing around with it. Every few months, there is this game that is happening over there, okay? Whack-a-mole kind of thing. The government is going to shut down.
I got where you're coming from. You're talking about they finally decided to refund, the government. And they just did that at the last minute yesterday at like 10 o'clock in the evening or whatever.
Yeah, when Joe Biden had already gone to sleep, I guess, before he signed the darn thing.
Right. And it really is ridiculous. And this is just a game that, unfortunately, I got to put it on the bright light, side of the aisle. It's a game that they're playing for no better reason than to play the game and not do what they need to do, which is regulate and, be in front of the country and what they're trying to make happen, right?
Yeah, so. And then they go and they put this thing up saying, we are going to fund the government for the next 45 days. So 45 days from now on, somewhere in mid-November, the game is going to be played again. Is that a good way of representing us and spending our tax dollars? Folks, that is what I want to know. So if you're just tuning in, you're tuned in to the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Mohammed Faheem. We come every Sunday morning on WCPT, Chicago's progressive talk radio station, right from the heart of Chicago. You can also watch us and listen to us on Facebook Live at WCPT. So facebook.com/WCPT820, or you can go to www.heartlandsignal.com. Scroll down to the Listen Live button. click on it, and you will be here. You'll be able to hear us. If you have any comments, feel free to text us, message us. You can use the same number for texting, 773-763-9278. Our intern, Donna He Sanchez, is monitoring our Facebook feed, so she would be responding back to your comments on Facebook. Feel free to log in. Feel free to call in. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with our guest of the week. And guest of the week is not going to be just 5 minutes this time. We're going to have a longer discussion with him about what he is doing. You're listening to The Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Mohammed Faheem. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Tired of high energy bills and concerned about the environment? It's time to embrace solar power. There's no one better to guide you than Ken DeLuke. Ken DeLuke, your trusted solar energy consultant, is your key to a brighter, greener future. With years of experience, Ken knows the ins and outs of solar power like no one else. Ken DeLuke will help you save big on your energy bills while reducing your carbon footprint. Ready to make the switch? Contact Ken DeLuke today at 312-617-8979 or shoot him an email at kj@midwestsolutions.info. That's KJAY@midwestsolutions.info. Ken DeLuke, solar energy consultant, empowering you with clean, sustainable energy solutions. Don't wait. Make the call today. 312-617-8979.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Faheem.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Mohammed Faheem, with the Lightning Strike on Chicago's progressive talk radio station, WCPT 820 AM. And we are discussing what happened at the center with this whole whack-a-mole game going on. This is crazy. Okay, the package funds the government at current 2023 levels until mid-November, setting up another potential crisis if they fail to more fully fund the government by then. What the heck does that mean? Okay, the package was approved by the House 335 to 91, with most Republicans and almost all Democrats supporting, right? The Senate passage came by a 88 to 9 vote. When I say most Republicans, you have this little group with Matt Gaetz and others who are holding the country hostage every time. And now they're making deals that, okay, if you drop the funding for Ukraine, we are going to go for this. And then the Speaker, McCarthy, comes in and says, yeah, there's going to be another bill that we're going to be introducing with more funding for Ukraine. By the way, where do you think you guys stand? Okay, Michael, you've been constantly calling in, and thank you. You've always been on the radio with us. So if you want to call in and talk a little bit about whether we should be funding Ukraine, give me a call. Okay, 773-763-9278. So let's go back to discussions now, Terry. So what do you think, man? Congress has passed this stopgap funding within hours of its deadline, right, to prevent a federal government shutdown.
Well, basically, I feel like I don't know, the government's always been kind of weird, especially passing these new I'm not going to say laws. Yeah, basically laws. So, I don't know why we're funding so much. Here's the thing. In my viewpoint, when they said they're trying to stop funding Ukraine, in a way, I kind of agree. In a way, I don't. I get it. Ukraine is at a deficit, and we're trying to support them. But at the same time, we can't keep giving all our money to Ukraine, especially when the trouble we're having down here in America right now. It's just basically...
Yeah, I think, that makes sense. We do have a caller on the line. Do they want to talk about what we are talking about today, Dylan?
We have Sheila White, and then the other one hasn't been screened yet.
Okay. So we're waiting to...
Let me pipe in here. This is important, okay? Ukraine is not a U.S. spending money issue. Ukraine is a global, where the whole world is going to issue. It's like the precipitation of World War III if we do not support Ukraine. Okay,
Ken, hang on one second. Okay, let me play Donald Trump's advocate again. Remember, I don't use the word devil's advocate on the radio over here. I just use Donald Trump's name. Okay, so
Yeah.
is it our responsibility, man? Okay, listen, like Tyree was saying. Listen, like Tyree is saying that there is issues over here that we need to pay more attention to.
No, you see, here's the situation. It's not one versus the other, okay?
Okay.
It literally is not you can do this or you can't do that. This is something, being the most powerful nation on the world, we need to step up to the plate and make sure
Okay, but here's the thing, Ken. We are playing with borrowed balls from China, okay? It's not our money, man. We are up to our neck and beyond in borrowing money from all over the world. We have a caller on the line. Ahmed, let's see what you have to say. He wants to talk something about the government funding of Ukraine. Please, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you, too.
I'm going to express that, the United States government funding for Ukraine is really very hypocritical, because when we talk about Russia, they are making the same claim for Ukraine as the Zionists are making for occupied Palestine.
Okay.
And occupied Palestine has been under a military occupation for over 60 years, and the American government has not yet stepped up to challenge the legality of that. But now they're challenging the legality of Russia doing the same thing the Zionists do. Why is that, other than hypocrisy?
Okay, I think you have a wonderful point over there. Ken, you want to respond to Ahmed?
Are you kidding me? Of course I do.
Go ahead.
Bottom line is, Putin is a oligarch who just has like this narcissistic view of the world. He wants to take over everything. Ukraine was his first stepping stone to get there. We're literally talking, if he got into Ukraine, it's going to be Poland next, or Uzbekistan, or whatever. It's going to go on and on and on until they remake the Soviet Union. This is a literally a crisis situation in terms of world government that.
Okay, I will let Ahmed answer your question on that. Ahmed, you want to respond back to Ken?
I'm still.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Since 1948. I'm looking to get an understanding of what the difference is between what Putin is doing and what the Zionists have been doing since 1948. They're trying to occupy a whole land that belongs to other people, and Putin is trying to occupy a land that he claims likewise was his. Whatever their political position is, isn't it wrong to have a military occupation for 60 years and America supposed to be on the right of morality says, oh, that's okay, we're not going to say anything against them for their evil, but we're going to challenge Putin on his evil. Evil is evil.
Okay, on that note, Ken, I think there's a great discussion to be had on this. We could be going for hours and hours on that, man. We don't have that much time on Sunday mornings, but we can always agree to disagree. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for calling in. I think we have another caller that is trying to come on the air. Let's see what our caller number 4 has to say on this topic or any other topic. Dylan, you want to go ahead and please bring that up on the board over here?
Yeah, they haven't been screened yet.
Okay. So we are screening our caller number 4. We don't want people calling in and getting on the air and making all kinds of, remarks that we may have to punch out later. So that's where the screening comes in, folks. It's not to keep people out, but to make sure that you are not going off the rails, okay? We don't want any Republicans calling in. Let me put it this way. No, I'm kidding. If you're a Republican, feel free to call in. We'd love to hear your angle on that also. The number to call in, folks, 773-763-9278. Again, Barry has a comment about Putin versus U.S. when invading. Barry, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I find it fascinating that we find Putin such a threat to us when, at the same time, all WCPT and all media laughs about his military being a paper tiger and how incompetent it is. It can't even take over Ukraine, yet he's going to take over the whole world. First of all, that's hypocrisy and doesn't make any sense. Second of all, we have had 250 military incursions, our country has, completely unjustified, by the way, over the past 50 years to Russia's 9. And our military incursions have all been based on lies. There's been absolutely no threat to us. Yeah, we're fine with that. We've killed 3.5 million or more black and brown poor people all over the world, and yet Putin is an oligarch. We have an oligarchy. They're actually very much mirror images of each other, and yet all of a sudden we're so outraged about Ukraine. I haven't heard the outrage about everything else. I don't see people having Iraqi flags up. I don't hear sympathetic stories about the Iraqis or Libya right now that is suffering from our invasion. Their infrastructure has been decimated because of Barack Obama's illegal invasion. So he's a war criminal. George W. Bush is a war criminal. Joe Biden's a war criminal. And Putin's a war criminal. So what are we doing? Why don't we look in the mirror and see why we're really in Ukraine and why Biden wants to send cluster munitions? That does not give you a high moral ground at all.
Barry, I think you make some valid points over there. And that's where, since we started this radio program about a month back now, we are on our 5th show. I don't know if you have listened to the past shows, but you're welcome to go back and check them out. Our website is TLS, which is The Lightning Strike, TLSchicago.com. And on the website, you'll also see a link for my rants of the week. And I started off by ranting about, number one, we need to have some control over who we elect to represent us. And money is playing such a huge role in this. So the soaring cost of democracy was my first rant. Please read that at your convenience. The second thing, we need term limits. We've got people in there, with all due respect to Dianne Feinstein, who died recently. They say that she died of natural causes. Great lady. She did a wonderful job, for a very long time. But one day before she dies of natural causes, quote unquote, she's there casting a vote in the Senate. Do you think she really knew what she was casting a vote for? Or was it the people who were supporting, putting these people in power, who are actually telling them what to do? This is where the crux is, my friend. Not enough people are taking part in the system. We are letting the tail wag the dog in America. And we, the people, are going to be suffering for this. Thank you very much for calling in, Barry. Feel free to call in anytime. It's your station. It's your program. And we want to have people calling in and participating in the program. It's not just going to be me yakking away. Let's.
Can I?
Go ahead, please.
Let me respond very real quick.
Go ahead.
I mean, he brought up a point, and I respect his opinion, but there's an order of degree, okay? Having somebody that can literally change the face of the earth in terms of where they're going on their mindset is completely different than an Iran deal or an Afghanistan deal or whatever. This is not even comparable to the existential crisis that we do have in our backyard right now, given who Putin is and what he's trying to do.
Hey, Ken, Putin is not in our backyard, man. And we keep on hearing that, the Russian army is the paper tiger. Somebody is taking my taxpayer money and your taxpayer money, and it is the military-industrial complex. Let's not be, shy about pointing the finger where we should be pointing. Meanwhile, we have our own existential crises like right here at home. And I've got a guest in the studio who's going to be talking about the crises that he is seeing every single day on the streets of Chicago. Sheila, I would like you to please introduce our person of the week, and so we can take the show forward. This is the Lightning Strike, folks. Call in 773-763-9278. Sheila, you're on.
Yes. Hi, Mohammed. I'm so excited today. We have with us Mr. Ali Khan, who is the founder of Humanity Relief. And that is a non-profit organization that resettles refugees and asylum seekers. of survivors of domestic violence and human sex trafficking in the Chicago and the Chicagoland area. And what they do is they furnish apartments for resettlement for families. They provide basics like household goods, cleaning supplies, hygiene items, and budget laptops for adult members of the resettlement families to use in their ESL classes. They also hold mobile distributions outside shelters for the homeless and police stations where asylum seekers are sleeping on the floors every Saturday from 12 on the south and west sides. Welcome, Ali, to the show.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for having me.
Well, and do welcome, Sheila. There's something that I want to do real quick. If you can hold on for 1 second, I want to give a high five to Ali over here in the studio for all the work that he's doing. Go on, please. Go ahead, Sheila.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit and help people to understand some of the great things that he's doing. Ali, talk a little bit about some of the things that you're seeing and that you're doing in the Chicagoland area for the asylum seekers.
Yeah, I would love to. And I think that we started off the conversation in a great way because, the asylum seeker crisis, the migrant crisis, whatever people are referring to it as, is a part of everything that's going on in the world that we are being affected by. But just to kind of give everybody an idea of what's going on, I'm sure everyone's heard that people are being bussed over here and being dropped off to police stations. And that's been going on for quite a while now. It's been months and months that, and we've received thousands and thousands of asylum seekers. And so basically the process is that, these individuals, families, including women and children, are all staying at, police stations like District 12, District 8, all over Chicago. And basically they're sleeping on floors, whether that's inside or outside. Some police stations have like little empty plots of land, like District 12, right next to them, where kind of we're now seeing like little tent cities, like little refugee camps, where people are preferring to sleep outdoors or in camps or, on whatever they can obtain and just, sleep there. So people are staying here, and what they're hoping to do or what they're hoping for is that shelter buses come and pick them up and, take them to shelters that we've been hearing about where hundreds and hundreds of people are staying. There's winterization camps we've probably heard of, from the city. And so I think the city has been slowly but surely moving a lot of the asylum seekers over to these camps. There's people staying, at the Broadway Armory. There's people staying at the American Islamic College over there on the far north side. And there's people all over, like Little Village, where there's facilities. But not everyone is lucky enough to get picked up. There's a lot of people coming in as people are getting picked up. So, people stay at these shelter facilities. Some of them are, lucky enough to go into transitional housing. And so, like Mohammed had brought up, that, not only are we doing the distributions at the police stations for the asylum seekers and the homeless at shelters, but we're also furnishing apartments and providing basics and, remote ESL classes and budget laptops and everything to these asylum seeker families. So we're kind of seeing the entire process, of what they're going through.
So, Ali, let me ask you something that I was just reading about yesterday in New York. Okay, there are a lot of asylum seekers in New York also, and when they had this cloudburst or whatever on Friday, New York was flooded. Okay, even the subways were flooded. The entire city was flooded, and I was reading about the government of New York has this rule that an asylum or a migrant who is here can only stay in these shelters for X number of days, then they have to move out. Mm-hmm. And it seems that a lot of these people were actually asked to move out of shelters in this pelting rain because their time was up and they had to go back to the intake place, mm-hmm. which is like a few miles away. There was no transportation. And they have to come back in the queue again in order to find, some space in the shelter. How's that working in the Chicago area?
Well, I'm not sure if we have exactly the same rules with them. I know that a lot of women and children are given priority with transitional housing. I'm not exactly sure how the shelters are going on about it, but I do know that whether that's a shelter or transitional housing, everyone does have a certain amount of time to figure out, what they're going to do. And I think now, just like a week or two ago, they were authorized to work. So I think that the situation now...
right, I read that they are getting a priority work authorization, which I think is a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, because you can only give a person, a fish for so long.
Yeah.
But with what you guys are trying to do, especially with your skills upgrade training and all of that, is teaching them to fish also. Folks, it's about 9:30. Our guest in the studio today, and we're going to have an extended conversation with him because this is very important. The lightning strike is not just about politics and what is happening in the world out there, but what is happening in our backyard. Who are some of the people who are making a difference to society around us? And we want to throw some lightning on that. Also, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side of the break. Number call in 773-763-9278.
Are you a business looking for the right talent or a job seeker searching for your dream career? Look no further than the Center for Strategic Solutions, your workforce solutions experts. Our experienced team at the Center for Strategic Solutions is dedicated to connecting employers with top-tier talent and helping job seekers find opportunities that truly align with their goals.
You're hired.
We're more than just consultants. We're your partners in success. Ready to take your workforce to the next level or land that ideal job? Contact the Center for Strategic Solutions today at 1-847-306-9274 or visit us online at www.cfss.us. The Center for Strategic Solutions, your bridge to a brighter future in the Windy City. The number to call is 847-306-9274 or send us an email at info@cfss.us. That is info@cfss.us.
Are you tired of high energy bills and concerned about the environment? It's time to embrace solar power. There's no one better to guide you than Ken DeLuke. Ken DeLuke, your trusted solar energy consultant, is your key to a brighter, greener future. With years of experience, Ken knows the ins and outs of solar power like no one else. Ken DeLuke will help you save big on your energy bills while reducing your carbon footprint. Ready to make the switch? Contact Ken DeLuke today at 312-617-8979 or shoot him an email at kj@midwestsolutions.info. That's kjay@midwestsolutions.info. Ken DeLuke, solar energy consultant, empowering you with clean, sustainable energy solutions. Don't wait. Make the call today. 312-617-8979.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Faheem.
Good morning, folks. Good morning and good Sunday morning to everyone in the Chicagoland area and beyond. You're listening to the Lightning Strike, and you can watch us live on Facebook.com/WCPT820, and it is also closed captioned on there. So if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to call in 773-763-9278. We started off today by discussing the discord, the dissonance. I mean, I cannot come up with more words without looking at a thesaurus this morning about what's happening in our nation's capital. Okay, these jokers over there are just playing around with our money and our time, threatening to shut down the government every few days. Meanwhile, remember, the Congress and the Senate, their salaries are there. I mean, they get paid, okay? It's not that they're not going to get paid. It is the ordinary, person on the ground who will have to beg, borrow, or steal if the government shuts down. And in 45 days, we're going to have this dance again. Tyree, what do you think?
Like I said, it's kind of weird that basically the government's trying to do a 45-day shutdown. It's like, what are you doing? Like, we got so many problems right now, and this just borderline weird to me.
Okay.
especially when they said about the Ukraine fund, as we discussed earlier. As I said, we're sending too much money to Ukraine for a war that's possibly has nothing to do with us, while we're dealing with a lot of issues down
And
here.
where is the end for that, man? What's the end game? Okay, Putin is not going to back off.
Right.
Everyone knows that. Okay, so what's the end game? We keep on putting this. Ken, remember there was a movie. I'm trying to remember the name of it. The Money Pit. Remember that movie, Ken? How long can we continue to put resources into this money pit, man?
Well, it's like a false comparative. The money part of it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Come on, Ken. It's my money and your money and the money that we're borrowing from China, and we are paying trillions in interest on that money, my friend.
All right. We are not spending a big part of our GNP supporting Ukraine. It's a very minor expense in the big picture of things that is there to help somebody not try to take over all of, Eastern Europe. Okay, this is really important. Okay, so the amount of money, it's a non-issue. I mean, comparatively on what we're spending on pretty much anything else, this is like it's a spit in the ocean. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Ken, the United States has appropriated approximately $115 billion in emergency funding to support Ukraine since February of 2022. Okay?
All right. Well,
that is 115 billion, Ken, with a B.
That's not very impressive, okay?
Right.
I'll figure it. The illegal immigrants that have been coming over that get jobs and they give you false certification and they wind up paying into Social Security $1.3 trillion a year that they'll never see because they are not legal, right?
Ken, that's a false equivalency right there, man. Okay. We are spending about, almost 0.33% of the United States GDP on supporting the war in Ukraine. United Kingdom is spending 0.37%, okay? Sweden is spending 0.31%. This thing is going to go on and on and on. I think we have a caller that is calling in wanting to comment on what we are discussing today. By the way, folks, we have in the studio our person of the week, and he is such an impressive background and what he is doing. And Ken, I think you have Diane calling in, and she wants to support the war in Ukraine. Diane, go ahead. You're on the air.
All right, let's talk about Putin. All right, Tsar Putin.
The Putin.
Where did he start? All right, he started with Croatia in 2008. He took over Croatia.
Right, and how far, Diane? How far is Croatia from the United States?
All right, no, listen to me. He's not going to stop. All right,
you think he's going to come all the way to the United States, Diane? Diane, do you think he's going to come all the way to the United States?
He's not going to stop it. If he takes Ukraine, he's not going to stop at Ukraine. The next, Sweden. Sweden's not a member of the United Nations.
No. We're talking about the NATO countries. He's not going to touch NATO.
He's not going to go after the NATO. Sweden is not part of NATO.
Right. Not United Nations, NATO.
All right. Finland is. Why do you think Finland joined NATO? Finland is afraid because he's not going to stop. He already took, think about this. He took Croatia, then Georgia, and he assassinated the president of Georgia in order to take Georgia in 3 days. Then he went over to Syria, right, with the Wagner Group backing him up each time, the Wagner Group, the Wagner Group, the Wagner Group. Mm-hmm. Then he went to Crimea, right, took Crimea. Then he went into he's not going to, what I'm telling you, the world did nothing in 2008. The world did nothing in 2009. He's been at this, taking back the former Soviet Union states. He's trying to reestablish the USSR.
Okay.
And if he's not, he will not stop. You think if he takes Ukraine, he's going to stop. If we just give up and let him have Ukraine, he's going to stop. And what about the Ukrainian people? They will be assimilated.
Okay.
He doesn't see Ukraine as an independent. He sees the Ukrainian people not as their own culture. He sees them as dirty people who need to be reestablished and re-assimilated into Russia. How would the United States feel? Let me turn this around on you.
Okay.
How would the United States feel? Now, Southern California, Texas, New Mexico belonged to Mexico at one point in time. How would the United States and the people feel if Mexico decided they wanted to reclaim those lands? First, they marched in full force with mercenary backing. They marched into Southern California. Then they want all of Texas back. Then they want all of New Mexico back.
Okay, I think,
How would the
Diane,
the people in the United States feel about this?
You are making some great points, and we are talking about somebody who is a country which is right on our borders, not halfway across the world. And my question again is that a good use of our taxpayer dollars when we have issues?
Well, wait a minute. Let's go to Trump and his tax.
Okay, let me pipe in here. Yes. It's a great use of our taxpayer dollars because Putin is basically what Hitler was with the Jews back in World War II.
Okay,
That's where we're at.
Ken, I mean, we are running out of time over here to talk on this topic, so we will continue the conversation next week also. This is so important for us to have this civil conversation. We've got Jerry Williams on the line, and Jerry wants to say a few words on Ukraine before we go back to our guest in the studio who's driven all the way over here. Jerry, you are on the air. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to say, and I agree with that young lady that was on the line a minute ago. We can't be that naive that we think that he just wants to take Ukraine. This guy, not just him. You got other oligarchs around the world that would like to do the same thing. The best investment that the United States could have made was to back Ukraine, and I hope that we continue to do it. We don't listen to these idiots that's trying to shut this country down and destroy this country. Those people are the same people that were calling themselves. I think they used to call themselves tea baggers or tea party. These are the same people. Go back and check the history.
Yep, I agree with you. My job here, folks, is to light the little fuse and throw some lightning on things and let you come in with your thoughts on this. Jerry, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for calling in, man. And we got Phil from the north side who wants to talk about our military budget. Let's see. Phil, what do you have to say, my friend? You're on the lightning strike. Throw some lightning on this thing. Okay, Phil, you're on.
Yeah, it's like I'm listening to Fox News. We approved 14.7% to Ukraine.
Okay.
Our entire military budget is $773 billion. What we're sending them is chump change, and we need to do that. If they take over Ukraine, they're going to move into Poland, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, geopolitically, if they get a warm water port out of Ukraine, we're all going to pay.
Okay.
It's going to cost. It's like having having a bad tire on your car and saying, why should I pay for a new tire? Or why should I pay to get it fixed? And then driving on it till you got to buy a new tire.
That makes a lot of sense, Phil. I like the way you're putting it.
Absolutely, man. Dude, You need to look into this because it sounds like a lot of money when you say it out of context. But when you look at the long-term ramifications of what will happen if Putin gets Ukraine, and on top, I have to add, you really need to listen to Philip Ittner. Maybe watch the Hal Sparks show when he's on, because you're right in one sense. Russia's not backing off, but they're getting their butts kicked over there. This was supposed to be a 3-day invasion.
A 3-day invasion in and out, and
to eliminate Nazis in Ukraine. That was Putin's excuse. You know, he went boots on soil. We didn't go boots on soil. You know, we installed a democracy there.
So what do you think? Why are this small group of Republicans so intransigent on this particular topic?
Because of, I can answer, because of the point you've been making. It's our tax money. You know, we're just giving away our tax money to other countries when we have, and we do have problems here. We can chew bubble gum and walk at the same time, though, in the United States. Like I said, that is not a whole lot of money we're sending them in relation to the vast amounts of money we waste on other things.
So, Phil, what do you think the end game is? We've got about 15 minutes, and we have a guest in the studio, so we want to talk a little bit more with him.
The end game is we stop Putin. We keep a democracy there.
Okay.
We stop Putin. If Putin loses that war, he's on a bad leg right now. We take his bad leg out from underneath him.
Yeah, but some people are already saying that Putin has lost the war. Okay, he's just not admitting it.
I believe he has. Again, if you listen to Philip Bittner's, of course, independent correspondent out there, really following this thing, combing the sand with a fine-tooth comb and reporting back, and it doesn't look good for Putin. I think Putin's out of his mind, to tell you the truth. So, you know, if we save a lot of money in the long run, this is the end game.
Okay.
By stopping him now,
you are completely right on what you're saying. Completely right on, in my opinion. And the problem that we have in this country are the Trumpaholics, okay? They drank the Kool-Aid. They're going on whatever that the Trump partisan BS has, like, put into people, and that's, like, ridiculous because they're not looking at the big picture, and you get it, dude. You totally get it.
Wonderful. Okay. Guys, thank you. We'll carry on the conversation next time, and we are looking at about 9:47. We are about to run out of time. Phil, thank you so much for listening in. Spread the word, man. We want people to participate in this program. It's not just me talking. My job, like I said, is to throw it out there and see what the folks in our town have to say about these topics. Sheila, coming back to you. Thank you so much for waiting online for Ali. Ali, anything that you are seeing that you feel we need to be aware of that the media is not bringing out? What is your day-to-day experience with the migrants and the challenges that they are facing on the streets in Chicago?
So, you know, I mean, we've been doing this work for a while now. We've seen a lot of different things, but I think something recently that happened at District 8 Police Station on the south side is something that everyone should hear about. So there are about 60 asylum seekers staying over there, and around 20 to 30 of them are small children. And so what had happened is the indoor bathrooms were shut down, and they were restricted to one porta potty outside.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, without even going into detail, that's so many people for one portable bathroom. You can imagine what that would be like. And so that kind of caused a problem between the police and the asylum seekers staying there. And, you know, there was kind of a little protest-style infighting thing going on. One lady who came here because her son has cleft lip, she attempted to use the bathroom, and she was arrested. And so, you know, we went there about like a week after that had happened, and the charges have been dropped against the woman, and there's now, you know, last time we were there was 3 porta potties out there. But that's just to give you an idea, you know, like this lady, she came here with her kid, left her other kid with her mom, to get help for her son's condition. And when we talk to all these people, you know, when we actually sit down with them, nobody just, you know, takes these journeys, you know, and leaves family members behind because they want to. almost everybody you talk to has some, heartbreaking story. A lot of them, like I said, involving women and children. So,
Okay, you had also mentioned, before we started the show, I believe Sheila and you had a long discussion, and there is some sex trafficking also going on, I believe. Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, human trafficking, sex trafficking, domestic violence, like, I was talking to Sheila a little bit earlier. A lot of these things are, intermingled with each other. So a lot of the people who are refugees or asylum seekers, they can very easily end up in situations of domestic abuse, or they can be trafficked, whether that's human trafficking or, so an example of that, like I had brought up with Sheila earlier, was that we had a mom with 2 kids who had escaped from an abusive husband. I believe she was from Honduras, and she was on the border, at a facility for quite some time, and eventually she was granted access. And a family there at the border who had family in Chicago brought them, back with them and everything and whatnot. They let them stay in their house, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, she ended up becoming like their maid. They would lock the family in like the attic.
Oh, boy.
They wouldn't give them cell phone access. And this lady, had to escape somehow. And, down the line, she got help and she had an apartment. We furnished it for her, provided her, ESL equipment and everything. And she's doing really good now. She's,
Folks, Ali Khan is in the studio with us today. He's our person of the week, and the organization that he represents, that he started, is Humanity Relief. So it's not just,
Mohammed,
go ahead, Sheila.
I want to mention something really important, because this is, Ali is not new to this. He's true to this. He's been volunteering with charities with refugees over in East Africa, the Middle East, South Asia. He left his corporate position to be able to start up this non-profit because he has a vision to be able to help people regardless of the race, creed, or color or religion. And so he's a person that is really trying to do what he can to make a difference, to help individuals. And he's seeing things behind the scenes that the media is not really reporting on. For instance, we talked about the sex trafficking and things along that line. And I really would like to know some ways that we can help. People can help out there. This organization, if you could help supply different hygiene items or cleaning supplies or household goods, whatever you can do. I know this is an organization that really does need support because they're really doing it from the heart. They're not supported by a large entity or a political organization. They're just individual citizens that are about humanity issues that are helping people. So what are some ways that everyday people can be able to help?
How can people get in touch with you, Ali? How do people step up to help you?
So if you go to our website, humrelief.org, you can sign up to volunteer, you can donate, you can contact us if you'd like to hold like a drive in your community. You can gather blankets, jackets, socks, hygiene items like female hygiene items, shaving sticks, soap, non-perishable food items, anything that you think that would help a homeless individual outside. You can contact us and we can come and pick it up. You can sign up to volunteer on our volunteer tab. We can always use volunteers out there or when furnishing apartments, so we do the mobile distributions and the apartments, and we need volunteers all the time.
So folks, I know that it is very difficult to write down things when you listen to it on the radio. What I would like you to do is to go to our website, tlschicago.com, for the Lightning Strike Chicago. Check out our tab for our guests there. We will have Ali's story on there with a link to his website. In the next couple of days, it'll show up on our website also. Meanwhile, you can go directly to his website if you can. Hum Relief. It's for shortened form of human. So Humanity Relief. It's humrelief.org.
Yes, that's correct.
That is the website. These are unsung heroes who are doing so much for our community that we should be paying more attention to. And thank you so much for coming into the studio and sharing your story with us. People need to know more about people like Ali over here. Like Sheila was saying, what was your corporate job? You left your corporate job to get get started with this thing. Where did that inspiration come from? What made you do it?
So when I was younger, I had gone through a program, like a transitional housing program with my mom and my siblings. And when we had gotten through that program, we were a lot better off than what we were before. We had faced some pretty difficult times, and I was very grateful. So I had gotten involved with a lot of local charities. Like Sheila was saying, I volunteered at an organization for 2 years that helped refugees. They'd fill shipping containers, we'd even go overseas, stuff like that. And then my last 2 years at college, I did like an internship with the domestic organization. So I had a lot of experience doing all this stuff, but I also had a lot of pressure on me, especially from friends and family, to go into corporate. I followed that pressure, and once I did, I realized that I simply could not just sit behind a desk all day after all the experiences that I had personally and how much I had gotten involved. So I had left corporate, which was very difficult. I put more than just blood, sweat, and tears into bringing us to where we are in 5.5 years. And, I have a good board, a very supportive wife, and a lot of people who are helping me out to where I'm trying to get, but it has been a journey.
Okay, wonderful, and that is the bottom line, folks. We are put on this earth for a reason, and if it is only to make money and have a good lifestyle, we are not fulfilling the reason that we are put on this earth for. God has a greater reason for creating humanity. Otherwise, we'd all have been, just monkeys swinging from trees. And as a human being, we need to pay attention to other humans around us. And that's what Ali's organization is doing, Humanity Relief. And it is such a pleasure to get to know him and to meet him in person. We had spoken on the phone and we had connected virtually before. And if you have any person that you would like to see featured on the Lightning Strike, it's not just about politics and society. It's about people who make a difference also. Sheila White is our segment producer for our Person of the Week, and you're welcome to connect with Sheila. Sheila, you want to tell people how they can connect with you?
Yes, they can connect with me by getting in contact at the TLC website. If you have a Person of the Week that you want us to know about or an organization of the week, please get in contact with the Lightning Strike radio show. We're interested in finding out things that are going on out there. We want to put a lightning strike out there for people that are doing great things, making a difference around the world in their community. So it's really important because there's a lot of social issues going on, but there are also a lot of people that are boots on the ground helping people to make a difference. And you're so right, Mohammed. We're here for a reason, and that's the reason to help each other. We're all are the same in the eyes of God as far as humanity is concerned. So we are our brother's keeper, but we do have to be concerned when people are doing the right thing, and we have to be concerned when people are doing the wrong thing. So if you're interested in having a Person of the Week on the show or an organization, just get in contact with us at the Lightning Strike radio show.
Okay, and the website there is www.tls for the Lightning Strike, tlschicago.com. You can go on there and you can connect with Sheila through the website. We'd love to have you participate in the programs, folks. The number is 773-763-9278. This is the Lightning Strike. We come every Sunday morning from 9 to 10 on WCPT, Chicago's progressive talk radio station or radio talk station. Dylan, how do you say that, man? Is it talk radio station or radio talk station?
Talk radio station.
Talk radio station? I don't know. I'm still debating whether it's the radio talk station or talk radio station. Okay. Dylan is in the studio with us, always steering the ship. Thank you so much for helping us out today. And again, I want to repeat, folks, this is your show, okay? We are here to make a difference for society around us. Tyree Pippins is our intern. He is actually getting airtime today. So, Tyree, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And anytime that you would like to connect with us, we have the website that you can go to. And Ali, you want to repeat your phone numbers and your website, please, before we sign off?
Yeah, sure. The phone number is 630-914-0204, and the website is humrelief.org. You can also contact us on the website.
Wonderful. On that note, folks, thank you very much. This is Mohammed Faheem signing off on the Lightning Strike. See you again next Sunday morning, 9 to 10 on WCPT, 8:20 a.m.